Santa, I've been good this year. Make your list and check it twice. I'll leave you a note right here underneath the Christmas lights. Carols and bells, none of them help. I still feel blue. I just wanna fall in love this Christmas. I don't need a fancy watch. You can give the elves a break. No, you can't make it in the shop. You can't put it on your sleigh. You know me so well, nobody else can do what you do. I just wanna fall in love this Christmas.
소고기 육수는 이렇게 젤리형으로 되어 있는 거 이거 쓰고 반 남은 거 이거 쓸게요.
Save the wrapping paper, your ribbon and bow. I don't need that extra stuff. Oh, I just wanna fall in love. Santa, I've been good this year. Make your list and check it twice. I'll leave you a note right here underneath the Christmas lights. You know me so well, and nobody else can do what you do. I just wanna fall in love this Christmas. I just wanna fall in love. Fall in love. Just wanna fall in love.
Mexican.
Right?
Your wife is awesome. Can you marry me?
This is just like my day.
I know, you're really lucky.
I was gonna say, I turned the corner and it was just like,
no, like our hallway.
I was like, and I got really excited because I was like, oh, we're going there.
Yeah.
lunch every day, but sometimes.
Baila que baila la luna, baila que baila mi amor. Tengo la grande fortuna de estar en tu corazón. Baila que baila la luna, baila que baila mi amor. Tengo la grande fortuna de estar en tu corazón. Pa' arriba, pa' abajo, pa' el centro. Adivina qué es lo que yo quiero. Izquierda, derecha, pa' dentro. Tequila pa' mi perdición.
Great job, honey. Our kitchen did a great job. I looked on Amazon because I was
cast a spell on the world, bringing you home to me from across the sea. And it seems like you're already here whenever I hear Christmas bells chime in my ear. When a snowflake falls, when a bluebird calls on Christmas, love songs that we heard all just seem absurd on Christmas. When you hold me tight in the shimmering lights of Christmas. When a fire lights up a starry night on Christmas, promises we made all just seems to fade on Christmas. When you kiss me slow under the mistletoe on Christmas. On Christmas.
Christmas is coming, the snowflakes will be falling. It's the most wonderful time of year. So hang up your stockings, put the tinsel on the tree, because Christmas is coming, my dear. It's the only time of year the reindeer fly. You can see them on their sleigh ride across the sky. Gather all your family round, or go out and paint the town. It's the only time of year the whole wide world turns upside down. So baby, light a fire, and we'll toast the night away, because Christmas is coming our way. Reindeer fly. You can't see them on their sleigh ride across the sky. Gather all your friends around, or go out and paint the town. It's the only time of year the whole wide world turns upside down. So baby, light a fire, and we'll toast the night away, because Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming our way. Hey, Mrs. Claus, this one's for you. Tell me, sweet mama, what's a guy to do? I'm tired of pretending it's just who I am. Come on, Mrs. Claus, let me be your man. Awkward shaving, wear a cap on my head. By matching robes all shiny and red. I'm begging you, please, I'll do all that I can. Come on, Mrs. Claus, let me be your man. And ever since I was a little boy, I never cared much for all those toys. You've always been the one for me, my beautiful angel on top of the tree. On Christmas Eve, if you're feeling alone, go right ahead and pick up the phone. Give me a call, I'll come quick as I can. Oh, come on, Miss Claus.
Okay. You know the brief image of how are you gonna make it?
I gotta make it into a house and then just gonna decorate it.
So you want to make it into a house first?
You think that's the wrong?
It's up to you, but I'm going to decorate the house first and then go to assemble. If you want to make the house first and then attach, I think that would be easier. Excited, Mom?
I'm excited a lot. Do I need to put that in the around?
Mrs. Claus, this
I made a
one's
mistake.
네.
Should have placed this one first because now this one's too far
Yeah,
over.
well, this one is the roof. This is the...
You sure?
Yes. It's fine. It's not gonna kill you.
It's just gonna look a little strange. You got a little skylight.
It's not too late, baby. You take it out.
Yeah, but it's already got the bricks on it. You can't have a really like a brick roof.
You can take it out. You can scrap it out if you want.
That's too much
It's not.
sugar plums.
Do you think that Santa celebrates Halloween? Or do you think that Santa celebrates Halloween? Does he watch scary movies or they give him bad dreams? Would he dress like the Grinch to go trick or treat? Do you think that Santa celebrates
So far,
Halloween?
I'm winning. My AirPods are
Do you think that Santa celebrates Thanksgiving? Or do you think that Santa celebrates Thanksgiving? Would he eat 7 plates of turkey with stuffing? Take an afternoon nap while football's on TV? Do you think that Santa celebrates Thanksgiving?
Of course, he's Santa Claus.
done.
I'm done too. Ha ha. Alright. Clean it. Ooh, beautiful. 잘했어. It's my turn now.
Do it slowly so I can
Maybe you did a good job.
see. Don't act so surprised.
잘했어. One sec.
Alright, so the voting is up to you. Which one do you like more, songs or mine? It's great. I love how much you love.
too preoccupied.